things, let me just tell you, you're living in a generation of self-deception. The generation of the Millennials and Generation Z, so just kind of younger than 30s folks is what we could call it. We could, mix around a few years, whatever you want to do. But let's just kind of go with that younger crew. Here's what's happening is there's this self-deception, and you've divided two things. I'm talking about right here, personal holiness, which is walking with God in the light and living a place of personal holiness. But what these generations are all about, and we can learn from them in other generations because it's good stuff, they're about social justice. Social justice is about we're going to change the world. We're going to make sure everything's good with the world. Well, let me just tell you, those two things got to connect, but here's how they disconnected. We had a parenting conference here at our church just yesterday. It was incredible. It was amazing, the content. They talked about technology. They talked about pornography, and they made this statement that just blew me away. Here's what they said. This younger generation is more into and opposing human trafficking than any other generation on the planet. I mean, they're more, we're going to stop this. We're not going to let this happen. We are against human trafficking. That's the social justice. And yet this generation is more into pornography than any other generation that's ever been in society. And let me just tell you, that's a disconnect of personal holiness and social justice, because pornography is funding trafficking. But we've separated those out and we've deceived ourselves to think, no, they don't connect. I can go over here and be addicted to this. And if you are, man, get some help. We'll help you as a church. But here it is with this pornography part. We don't want personal holiness, but we do want social justice. They made this comment in the conference. They said, it's like rallying against a corrupt politician and then donating to his campaign. What is it? It's self-deception. No, these two things don't connect. Yes, they do. And we could go down a list of other things, couldn't we, just after, over and over and over. But let me tell you how the world has changed. The world has changed when we realize personal holiness and social justice are connected. The abolitionists that ended slavery were believers in Jesus that realized that God had value in every person. Therefore, slavery was wrong. Hospitals were started by believers that said, we want to help and minister to people that are in their greatest need. We want to start orphanages because we realize these kids are precious to God. And so we're going to start an orphanage to be able to do that as personal holiness and social justice come together. Do not live, parent or child or grandparent or whoever else single, do not live self-deceived. God is calling every one of us to walk in the light.